In the headlines, the Senate confirms 7 ministerial nominees sent to it by President Muhammadu Buhari. Terrorists kill policemen, workers, and abduct 4 Chinese on Niger mining site. Nigeria and European business leaders seek improved business environment. And on the foreign scene, Moscow announces troops withdrawal from Snake Island. Hello and welcome to the news update on Trust Television. I am Martia Umar. Thank you for joining. And now the news in detail. The Nigerian Senate on Wednesday screens and confirms 7 ministerial nominees sent to it by President Muhammadu Buhari. And Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports that 5 of the nominees were scrutinized by the upper legislative chamber, while 2 others who were former lawmakers were told to take a bow in line with the age-long practice of according them such concession. The report.
President Muhammadu Buhari had, in line with Section 47, subsection 2 of the 1999 Constitution, sent a letter to the Senate containing the names of Iko Eri Ikechukwu Abia, Umana Okon Umana Akwa Ibom, Ikuman Nkama Joseph Nkama Ibonyi, Goodluck Nana Opia Imo, Omar Ibrahim Eliakub Kano, Ademola Adeole Adegoroe Ondo, and Udomude from Rivers as ministerial nominees to fill existing vacant positions in his cabinet.
Senator Rochas Okrocha meant well. I think that he wanted to also add his voice to the support of my nomination. Seriously speaking, I've had a series of telephone conversations with him before today, and there is no indication that he was going to oppose my nomination.
That would key into the agenda of this government and to ensure that on day one, God willing, if confirmed by the Senate, we hit the ground running, delivering on services to the Nigerian people to actualize the Nigerian dream.
The Senate, as part of its oversight function, subjects the nominees to a routine scrutiny to determine their suitability in terms of competence and character. The Red Chamber thereafter confirms their nominations through the Committee of the Whole. The confirmed ministerial nominees are expected to fill the vacant positions left by the immediate past ministers on presidential expedition at the last APC primary, amongst others.
7 presidential nominees for the ministerial appointments into the cabinet of President Muhammadu Buhari just went through, the rigors of explaining themselves or unveiling themselves to the National Assembly and to Nigerians with regards to the portfolios that they are going to be given by the present administration. It is a routine exercise by the Senate to interrogate and of course get certain clarifications and explanations from nominees like this. 5 of them had to go through the rigors of answering questions and of course clarifying issues to the Senate, while 2 happened to be ex-lawmakers, and they had the privilege of taking the bow and go, as it is synonymous with the National Assembly when it comes to screening exercise. From the National Assembly here in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News.
And away from the Senate, the All Progressives Congress APC Northwest Zone says that the party must strategize on how to get a massive vote in the Northwest to enable it win the presidential election in 2023. The National Vice Chairman of the APC Northwest, Salihu Lukman, at a press briefing in Kaduna said the party's chances of winning the presidential election would be shaky if it fails to secure massive votes in the region. He added that the only way to do that is to mobilize people to register and get their permanent voters' cards.
I can go further to make the point that APC is only able to win the presidential election because it has a mass support base in the Northwest. Any day it loses that, its capacity to retain the presidency will be shaky. Any party that can produce the presidency must have the mass support of Northwest. Go and check again the results of PDP in 1999, the result of PDP in 2003, of course 2007, even when they over-rig, you will see that the rigging in the Northwest is more massive than any other region. So the reality is that Northwest is almost the heartbeat of politics in Nigeria. If you don't win the Northwest, you are not likely going to produce the presidency.
And in a very sad development, at least 17 people have been killed and several others severely injured when motorists attacked a mining site managed by the Chinese nationals at Ajata Boki in Gurmana ward of Shiroro local government area of Niger State. The State Commissioner for Internal Security and Humanitarian Affairs, Emmanuel Umar, confirmed the attacks in a statement on Thursday, but said that the number of casualties were yet to be ascertained. Umar said that the terrorists were engaged by a joint security team, resulting in casualties from both sides. The attack was reportedly launched on Wednesday afternoon, during which 7 persons, including mobile policemen guarding the mines and workers, were killed. The attackers, reportedly armed with sophisticated weapons, were said to have arrived in the community around 2 p.m. and headed to the mining site, shooting at anyone on site. And the chairman of the Nigerian Medical Association, NMA Zamfara State Branch, Dr. Manir Bature, says that the abductors of the medical director, General Hospital Dansado, Dr. Mansour Mohammed, have demanded 20 million naira as ransom for the release of the chief medical director. The NMA chairman disclosed this in an interview with Trust TV News in Gusau, the Zamfara state capital, following the abduction of one of their colleagues, Dr. Mansour Mohammed, last Saturday at Mishayar village along Dansado, Magame Road. The report.
The chairman of the Zamfara State branch of the Nigerian Medical Association, NMA, Dr. Manir Bature, claimed that the security forces have not taken the fight to the bandits' enclaves. He revealed that the abductors of the medical director of the General Hospital, Dansado, in Maru local government area of the state, who had contacted the family of the victim to demand 20 million naira as ransom, have now reduced the amount to 5 million naira. Dr. Bature disclosed that the leadership of the association is still working with relevant authorities to ensure the safe release of the victim. He observed that the bandits had sometime last year attacked the General Hospital Dansado and abducted 2 health personnel after a futile effort to abduct the medical director, Dr. Mansour Mohammed, in the facility. The NMA chairman, however, said he believes the bandits have been targeting the CMD for a while now, until last Saturday when they succeeded in abducting him to an unknown location.
Yes, about 2 days ago, they contacted the family and, of course, informed them that he's with them and he's healthy. And, of course, demand the ransom payment of 20 million naira. And so, but as at yesterday, they have reduced the ransom to 5 million naira. So we are still talking to them and negotiating with them to see how they can be able to reduce the ransom to a reasonable level.
He wants the security agencies and other relevant stakeholders to form a more formidable synergy among themselves to enable them win the ongoing war against bandits and eliminate the menace of banditry.
The security agencies that are supposed to be protecting people are actually not living up to their responsibility. So one is left with no option than to look for ways to protect himself. So we welcome this initiative by the state government, of course, to calling on people to arm and protect themselves, because we believe it's a step forward.
Bature called on the three tiers of government to come up with strategies to nip in the bud the current upsurge of security challenges in Zamfara State in particular and the country in general.
And still on insecurity, one of the recently released victims of Kaduna-Abuja train attack that spent over 70 days in captivity has commenced a one-man protest with the aim of drawing government's attention to the need to dedicate more resources to effect the release of other passengers that are still in captivity. The woman, Maimuna, real name withheld, who said her husband has been in captivity for over 89 days in Kaduna Forestry with the terrorists, added that she is among the recently released 10 victims. According to her, there is a need for government to intensify efforts towards dialoguing with the terrorists in order to find ways of releasing the remaining 50 passengers that are still in captivity. Maimuna admitted that there are still children and an aged woman in captivity facing untold hardship in the hands of the terrorists, and urged the government and other stakeholders to help secure the release of the rest of the abductees. Amira Safiano, a Twitter user who raised an alarm over an alleged kidnap, had pleaded guilty before magistrate court in Abuja. She was arraigned on Wednesday on the sole charge of misleading the police pursuant to Section 140 of the Penal Code. James Idachaba, police prosecutor, tendered a medical report indicating that Safian was mentally ill when she gave the false information. Idachaba prayed the court to give the defendant a non-custodial sentence under Section 44 of the Administration of Criminal Justice Act. He also prayed that she should be placed under the supervision of the police counseling unit for regular review of her mental state. Chinyere Moneme, defendant's counsel, did not oppose the submissions of the prosecution. In his judgment, Chukwuemeka Nweke, presiding magistrate, ordered that the defendant should be released conditionally to a probation officer. And in the wake of incessant killings, rustling of animals, and abduction of people for ransom in Katsina State, the Commissioner of Police, Idrisu Dauda Dabang, has met with stakeholders. The meeting with stakeholders from insecurity-prone local government areas was held behind closed-door meeting, after which the Commissioner briefed journalists. Abdullahi Amadi tells us more.
Is to make sure we improve the security of the states, especially in some frontline local governments. Specifically, we called 3 local government stakeholders and we held security meeting. We discussed on the way forward. We were aware of the problem, and they told us they are onboarding their mind, and we discussed and resolve on what to do.
The police commissioner also has these assurances for the numerous farming communities of Katsina State.
The security measure we discussed now, once we achieve our objective, I think everybody will smile. Police and other security agencies. And they should also maybe give information on the crime and criminals within the society. We talked about the informants, and like we told them that they are within their environments, so they should try to expose them.
Meanwhile, the police authorities in Katsina State has presented a commendation letter to Constable Noura Mande for outstanding display of honesty and patriotism. Noura Mande was on special duty at Hajj Camp, Katsina, when he found $800 equivalent to 480,000 naira and returned it to its owner, Hadiza Usman, an intending pilgrim from Kusada local government. I returned the money to its original owner, and the reason is simple. To me, $800 is nothing. It's a money, even if well spent, cannot solve all my problems. Secondly, The money does not belong to me. As such, if I spend it, I must refund it where there is no money. That is on the day of reckoning. I will not want that to happen to me. Indeed, the type of Constable Noura Mandi are much needed in both public and private sectors, especially in the current quest to remove the country out of the woods. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
And away from Katsina, the House of Representatives on Wednesday set up 2 ad hoc committees to address noticeable lapses in government operations. The committees were inaugurated during plenary. The report.
One of the committees is to investigate the petroleum product subsidy regime from 2017 to 2021 and report back to the House within 8 weeks for further legislative action. The resolution of the House followed a motion on the need to investigate the petroleum product subsidy regime in Nigeria from 2017 to 2021, brought by Honorable Sergius Ose Ogun from Edo State. The House also inaugurated an ad hoc committee to investigate duplication of functions by most government ministries, departments, and agencies. The move, according to the Speaker, Femi Gbajabiamila, is to reduce the cost of running the government and promote efficiency. The bill to investigate the lacuna in government was introduced to the floor at plenary by the Chief Whip of the House, Muhammad Mungunu, on 2nd of March 2022. The aim is to address issues of duplication of functions of most of the MDAs and to make them more effective and functional. The Speaker, while inaugurating the committee, assured that the idea was not to witch hunt, but rather to improve service delivery of the MDAs.
This committee is expected to come up with solutions to the apparent continuous conflict of functions and avoidable bickering among the established ministries, departments, and agencies, resulting in ineffectiveness, inefficiency, and redundancy in the government workforce. The committee is therefore expected to engage relevant stakeholders and members of the public with a view to resolving the areas of conflict among the MDAs, which may require amending some laws and/or outright repeal.
His position was supported by the chairman of the ad hoc committee, who highlighted some of the issues that affect the optimal performance of most government agencies.
I would like to appeal to the various ministries, departments, and agencies of the federal government, as well as the general public, for your maximum cooperation and resourceful contribution towards more efficient, goal-driven, and productive government.
Sada Soli from Katsina gave a general overview of the proposed bill and how it will not only cut cost of governance, but also address clash of interests and interagency rivalry, which negates the principle of good governance.
So we observed all these challenges in these 1,484 MDAs, and we thought there is need to address this problem.
Heads of MDAs promised to cooperate with the committee by submitting memoranda to aid its work.
In addition to harmonizing what is in existence now, there should be a standing committee in the National Assembly that makes sure that any bill that comes before the National Assembly goes through scrutiny to make sure that that new bill does not conflict with any other existing law in the country.
It is hoped that the outcome of the investigation will assist the MDAs to perform efficiently without any encumbrances.
And you're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, we'll take a look at the reports of The Rich Also Cry. This and more stories shortly. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining, this is the news updates on Trust Television. A look at our top stories again. We told you that Senate confirms 7 ministerial nominees sent to it by President Muhammadu Buhari. And terrorists kill policemen, workers, and abducted 4 Chinese on Niger mining site. And moving on to other news, disability rights advocates have called for a more conducive and disability-friendly work environment to aid easy access to facilities by people living with disability. They made the call during a training on financial movement, NGO governance, and organizational safeguarding for network of disabled persons in Nigeria. The report. Statistics show that people with disabilities are more likely to experience extreme poverty in Nigeria than those without a disability. It was also revealed that structures have become more inaccessible to persons living with disabilities as they are not considered during construction or renovation of such facilities, with just a few public and private establishments considering the PLWD's accessibility. It is in light of these that the Network of Disabled Women with support from Disability Rights Fund organized a training on financial management, NGO governance, and organization safeguarding for PLWDs.
The training is going to be an eye-opener for participants, and then hopefully these participants, we are believing that at the end of the training, participants would also go back with the latest idea in terms of safeguarding policies, safeguarding practices for persons with disability, and also make sure that their institutions or their organizations pick up these ideas that have been shared today and then build upon it, and then even go out and campaign with such ideas that will be shared here.
The organizers say achieving increased awareness will promote advancement and address challenges.
We try to do this by building up this capacity of communication, breaking the barriers of communications, like using the simple language.
Ibe Morin, a participant at the training who works at a public establishment, narrates her ordeal occasioned by the lack of access to facilities for PLWDs and called for a change to reduce the challenges PLWDs face daily.
It's been challenging because I remember even going to school, it's the presence of a person with disability that creates the opportunity to make facilities that pertain accessibility. Most workplaces you go to, you'll be carried, it's a little bit embarrassing that you start looking for help, people to assist you, go in. Just in few places that you go to and you find, a good access.
The aim of the training is to equip beneficiaries with basic knowledge in financial management and organizational safety to enable them become independent. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja. And now to business news. The harsh economic realities of Nigeria have continued to be a point of concern as the price of basic items and amenities continue to hike. More and more Nigerian pockets are under threat, and those feeling the heat aren't just those living on the poverty line. As it is, the economy is now threatening even those living in the middle class. Chamundabek speaks to the Fabukes, a family of 6, to find out how they cope with the economic instability. The report.
Despite the favorable statistics emanating from government suggesting marginal growth in the economy over the last 4 quarters, the reality for many Nigerians is the opposite. The spiraling inflation, the rise in utility rates, the soaring prices of food seems to have caused a disalignment of the economy from the ordinary Nigerian. Government is quick to admit that the alleged improvement in the economy has not trickled down to the people. But when it makes this admission, the assumption is that this affects only the poorest people on the rungs of the ladder. However, those in the middle class, which was in the past associated with some level of comfort, are also complaining now. So does the middle class still exist, or have harsh economic conditions scaled down the number of those found in this category of people?
I don't think Nigeria has a middle class. I would say maybe transitory middle class, because the middle class is so volatile. It can go up, come down. You easily find yourself in the lower class, and you can easily find yourself in the upper class, depending on what you're doing.
As the prices continue to hike, what are the things that were easily affordable in the past? Are they still there, or have they become a luxury?
Okay, well, in my area, the last time we bought gas, that's a 12 kg, it was about 8,000 because we have like 2 of it. So I think by now it should be up to 10 or a little bit more than that. We got this to complement our gas, but we haven't been using it because of the hike in electricity tariff. It's totally out of use now. It just serves as my counter. I just put pots on it and all. We don't even use it anymore. That's 100.
How long does it last?
This for 4 kids. I don't even take milk. We don't take milk. We the adults, we don't take milk anymore. So that it will last for them. Like if I am the one scooping the milk, if I don't send my elders to scoop it, it can stay up to 2 weeks. But if they do it themselves, maybe a week plus 4 days or so.
It is often said that the measure of a healthy economy can be ascertained by how many of its citizens live comfortably above the poverty line.
And the European Union has indicated that it will prioritize Nigeria, Mozambique, Angola and Senegal in its bid to accelerate the continent's energy transition to renewables. At a press conference to announce the 8th edition of the EU Business Forum, which will take place on the 30th of June to the 1st of July 2022, the EU ambassador to Nigeria, Samuel Isopi, explained that under its recently launched European external strategy, it is targeting Nigeria and 3 countries by diversifying supplies and fast-tracking energy transition into renewables. And finally, on the international scene, Russia's defense ministry says its troops have been withdrawn from Snake Island in the Black Sea as a gesture of goodwill aimed at demonstrating Moscow's support effort to restart food export from Ukraine's port. And with that, we've come to the end of the news update at this hour. For more, you can follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Martia Umar. Thank you for watching and stay tuned.